video, we're going to be talking about two of the trickiest questions that some people struggle with in interviews. Tell me about yourself and what is your biggest weakness. So if you'd like to learn how to answer these questions in your next interview, don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Hello everyone, welcome to another episode on It's a Learning Life for Real. I'm Tamika, and here on It's a Learning Life for Real, I use my experiences as a learning and organizational development professional to share insights and tips that you can use as you journey towards your own growth and professional development. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you're coming back, welcome again. I'm so happy you decided to join me. I want to pause very quickly just to thank you to all the persons who have clicked like and subscribe or have shared my videos. I recently hit 103 subscribers and I'm so very grateful to all of you, each and every one of you that has subscribed to my channel and is sharing my channel. Today we are talking about difficult interview questions, or those tough questions that they tend to stump you in the interview or you find them really challenging to answer. We're going to talk about strategies and tips that you can use to make sure that you are able to star your interview. And if you did not see my video on how to star your interview, you want to check that out, because in that video I talk about how you can answer behavioral interview questions. But today we're talking about difficult interview questions, how to tackle those. According to the research, the best way to answer the question, tell me about yourself, is to use a three-part structure or framework where you start with the present, go into the past, and mention the future. So for example, you may want to start with what your current situation is. Start by talking about your current role and your responsibilities and or achievements, and then you want to go into what you've done in the past, what your educational qualifications have been, and some of the things that have perhaps prepared you in the career path that you've taken. And then for the future aspect of it, you want to tie your present and your past to how all of that aligns to and or positions you to be the best candidate for the job. So for example, if I were answering the question, tell me about myself, I would say in my current role as the Learning and Organizational Development Manager for the Park Authority, I have management responsibility for the learning and development function for approximately 600 full-time employees and also an additional 800 seasonal employees. As the Learning and Organizational Development Manager, I have responsibility for liaising with all levels of management and staff to identify training needs and to develop appropriate responses to support that. I also work very closely with managers to ensure that their workforce development needs are met, and I partner with senior management in identifying strategies to improve organizational development, such as strategic planning, change management, and so on and so forth. I also have responsibility for managing a team, so I supervise a team and I also manage the budget at the agency, the training budget at the agency level. Previously, I lived in Jamaica. I have international training and development experience, having worked with the government of Jamaica's public sector training agency. I spent 8 years with that organization, and I moved progressively from the senior learning facilitator consultant into training management and ultimately into research and information management. So I have navigated or served in roles tackling everything from learning facilitation, training development and design, curriculum management, performance management, training management, all aspects of training and development. And I've also specifically focused on leadership development and management development training. So I have a ton of experience in that. I'm also passionate about leading, learning, engaging, and developing people wherever I go. So I am a big advocate of volunteering. I also write a personal and professional development blog, and I have a YouTube channel which also focuses on personal and professional development. And a little bit about my personality. In terms of my personality, I'm extroverted. I love people. In fact, StrengthsFinders tells me that my top strengths are I'm strategic, I'm a relator, and I'm an activator. So I get things done. So I believe that and in terms of my education, I have a master's degree in public administration, and at the undergraduate level, I have a bachelor's degree in public administration and international relations. And I am also a certified professional in talent and development through ATD. So I believe that based on the job announcement, the skills that you're looking for in the ideal candidate for the training director role, that the last 18 years that I have spent serving in different roles at different levels in the learning and organizational development function position me to be a great fit and candidate for this role. So I believe based on the job announcement and my understanding of what the roles and responsibilities of this job, I believe that my professional experience, my educational background, and also the experiences I have gained around leading teams, performance management, budgeting, strategic planning, and all those key skills actually position me to be a great candidate to come and join your team and to add value. From that example, you saw where I spoke about my current role. I started with the present, and then having spoken about my current role and the key responsibilities related to that role and or achievements, then I moved into the past. Some of the things I've done before. So I spoke about the time I spent with the government of Jamaica's public sector training agency. And then I wrapped up the question by mentioning how my present experiences, my past experiences position me to be a great candidate in terms of adding value to the team and the role that I'm applying for. So you want to start by talking about your present situation. You want to make references, show how in your past your experiences and your qualifications have prepared you. And then also you are going to mention how you're going to align in the future, you're going to align your past and your present experiences to speak to how those experiences and your qualifications and your training now prepare you to then move into the future in terms of this new opportunity. Another thing that you could do with the tell me about yourself question is also include information that would give them some insight about some aspect of your personality. The personal information you want to share might be related to your hobbies and your interests. So for instance, I may say I am very passionate about volunteering. So I volunteer at my daughter's school, I volunteer at church, I volunteer for project teams at work and also at the organizational level. And because of my passion for helping people to grow and develop, I actually write a blog which is called It's a Learning Life. And I also have a YouTube channel where I share tips and insights and strategies that can help people to grow and develop. So those are two things that I do as my hobbies, and I'm also a big reader. So that's a little bit about me. In that example, not only did I speak about my professional background, educational qualifications, but I also gave the interview panel some insight about my hobbies and interests that creates a more rounded picture of who I am and what it is that I bring to the team. Because in some instances, well, in all instances, interviewers are looking for fit. They're looking for, apart from what you have on the resume, they want to get insights as to perhaps how well you might work within a team, whether or not you have any other skills or talents that may be beneficial to them. So by sharing what your hobbies and interests are, you can be strategic about sharing information that could potentially give you an edge or help to solidify your position as the best candidate for the job. So that is how you would answer the question, tell me about yourself. Another question that some people struggle to answer in interviews is the question that says, what is your biggest weakness? Now, it's counterintuitive that if you're seeking a job opportunity, that you would walk into an interview and tell on yourself in terms of what your biggest weakness is, because chances are your biggest weakness might be something that stands in the way of getting you the job. So how can you answer the question, provide an effective response that gives the interviewer and the interviewees, the interviewer and the interview panel, some insights as to how you think and process information and or your degree of self-awareness? Now, the thing about this particular question, why it's tricky, is that you want to be honest by speaking about something that is logically seen as a weakness, and also something that it's not so bad that it could undermine your performance in a significant way that can also make you not get the job. So it's a delicate balance. You have to, one, make sure that the answer itself sounds logical and demonstrates self-awareness and shows that you are continually seeking to improve in that particular area. But at the same time, whatever it is that you're talking about, it's not serious enough that it would undermine your ability to be effective at the job. So some of the examples or things that you could talk about if you're talking about your weaknesses, you could perhaps say you have a tendency to multitask. You have a hard time saying no. You have a tendency to be a little impatient. Or in some instances, you can mention that you perhaps struggle with procrastination. You can decide any which of these, but the thing about it is, for any of the examples that you give, you have to find a way to package it in a way that it does not detract from your ability to do the job. And this is the way I would answer that question. I would say, so one of the things that I've come to realize and understand is that our weaknesses are closely related to our strengths. What do I mean by that? Earlier, I shared with you that one of my strengths is that of being an activator. And activators like to get things done, they like to take action, and they get impatient for progress. So what that means is that sometimes I'm working in teams, or I may be wanting to implement a new idea, and I may get impatient because it appears to me that things are taking too long and I might not be able to get things done as quickly as I want to get them done, because you know you have to work in teams and you have to get buy-in, and you have to make sure that you communicate and mobilize everybody to be a part of the project, and also get approval from management to ensure that you can get support for what it is that you're trying to get done, that bright new idea or that project you're trying to implement. So one of the things that I've been working on is tempering that inclination to want to get things done by making sure that I am not just focusing on the end goal, trying to get to the goal, but I'm also pausing and ensuring that I am clarifying what it is that we're trying to do. I am answering the questions for people who may not be convinced or may not be as motivated as I am to get the project done. So as I seek to become more patient, some of the things that I've tried to do is to make sure that I check in with my supervisor or my manager or whoever the different stakeholders are that I'm collaborating with, and what the realistic timelines might be. Because in some instances, it could be that I set timelines based on how quickly I think I can get it done, but at the same time I have to realize that I operate within a broader team and within a broader context, and there are other deliverables that might be impacting what it is that we're trying to get done. So impatience is something that I am working on, and I find that those efforts have been helping me to manage that inclination to be a little impatient. So I would say I get impatient for progress, and I am managing that inclination. So that's basically how I have been working on my weakness, or that's what I would say my biggest weakness is. I get impatient for progress. So that's an example of how you could talk about a weakness that is not essential to the job that you're applying for, and showing also how it is that you're addressing the weakness. So that's how it is that you want to talk about what your biggest weakness is. Make sure that the thing you're going to mention is something that is not essential to the job, and you're also communicating how it is, the steps you're taking to try and to improve on that weakness. So if you have any other questions that you're interested in me doing a video about, leave me a comment and I'll be sure to do them. So I hope that that was helpful to you, how to handle those two tricky interview questions. Tell me about yourself and tell me about your biggest weakness. So thank you for watching another video. Remember to hit like and subscribe. And until next time, remember, it's a learning life for real.